Hello, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Yoga for Potters. Today we are going to be working on releasing lower back tension. If you spend a lot of time hunched and rounded over your wheel or over anything, this will be a great practice for you. We are going to use a yoga strap. If you don't have an official yoga strap, no worries. A dog leash, scarf, belt, even a bath towel will work just fine. So you can go grab that. We're definitely using that. And then if you know that you like cushion under your knees for tabletop lunges, etc., you might grab a yoga blanket or again a bath towel or any sort of cushion you've got lying around will do just fine. We're going to start our practice on our backs. Make sure your strap is handy. We're going to grab that real soon. So we'll start with our feet planted, our knees bent. So if you can take our feet pretty wide so our knees can just fall in towards each other. Arms can be by your sides, palms face up. And we might take a moment to wiggle each shoulder under. And then we'll take a moment just to arrive on our mats. So I invite you to drop your awareness into your body and just notice how your body is feeling today. What's feeling good? What's maybe holding a little bit of tension? And if you notice tension in your body, maybe taking a big deep breath into that space and gently asking it to soften on the exhale. And then we'll bring our awareness to our breath, noticing how it's moving through your body today. What's moving on the inhale, what's moving on the exhale. And we are focusing on the lower back today, so we're going to do a little bit of breathing, thinking about the lower back. So I invite you to take your hands and just wiggle them underneath your lower back and that little curve that is hopefully in your spine. And then on the next inhale, let's try to inhale so deeply that we can feel the lower back press against those hands underneath it. On the exhale, we'll let all of that soften. Again, inhaling deeply, feeling that lower back expand into your hands. And exhaling to soften. Let's take 3 more rounds here on every inhale, trying to create a little more expansion. On every exhale, a little more softness. When you finish that third round, you can wiggle your hands out from underneath your back, and then we're going to grab that strap. So we'll press through the left foot as we extend the right foot up to the sky, looping the strap around that foot as we do. We're not going for a big hamstring stretch here. We're thinking about just having that leg perpendicular to the ground, so his foot just straight up to the sky. We're going to add a little bit of pressure with that strap, letting that leg sink heavy into the right hip socket, and then we'll extend the left leg long. We're going to think about pressing through the left foot as we're letting that right leg just sink heavy here. Take a couple breaths in this position. And then we'll slide both sides of your strap into the left hand. The right hand is going to come with your right thumb in your right hip crease. We're going to bring the right foot over to the left just so we feel that right hip want to pop up. We're going to keep that hip on the mat. And then your left thumb is gently pressing forward. So we're creating length through the right side body instead of letting that right hip creep up towards the right shoulder, which is what it might want to do. We'll take a couple breaths here. We probably feel it's on the outside of the right leg and maybe the right side of the lower back. from here, we'll move that right hand straight out to the side like it's coming into a T, palm towards the sky. And then we'll let that right foot move as far as it wants to move over to the left, letting that right hip move with it. Your right shoulder probably popped up off the ground. That's totally okay. We'll bring our gaze over that right shoulder. We'll pause here for a few rounds of breath. From here, we'll sweep the right foot back up to the sky. We're going to take the left foot, we're going to wiggle it inside the strap as we lower the right foot back down to your mat. We're going to let that left leg just drop heavy into the left hip socket as we extend the right leg long. We're thinking about pressing through the right foot as that left leg is just sinking heavy here. And then we'll take both sides of the strap into the right hand. Your left thumb is going to come into that left hip crease. Right foot is going to move to the right. Left hip is still glued to your mat. And then we're pressing that left thumb forward, creating length through the left body, left side body, left lower back, etc. And then we'll extend the left arm straight out to the side, palm to the sky. The right foot will move as far to the right as it wants to go. The left hip will move with it. We might look over the left shoulder. And then we'll sweep the left foot back up to the sky. We'll toss the strap aside. We are done with it. We'll plant the left foot. The right foot will come in to meet it. And then we're going to take our palms, we're going to bring them to the base of the thighs. So they're kind of, your wrists are resting on your hip sockets. And we're just going to press those hands straight forward, giving a little bit of manual release, perhaps, of the lower back, creating just a little extra length here. And then we'll catch the kneecaps with the hands. We'll draw circles in one direction, tracing around your sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine. And then we'll reverse the direction of our circles. And then from here, we'll hug knees in towards the shoulders. We might rock a little bit side to side. And then we'll catch behind the thighs. We'll rock front to back a couple times. And then we're going to make our way in to tabletop. If you know you want some cushion under your knees, we'll grab that yoga blanket or bath towel, whichever you've got, sliding it under the knees. We'll bring our wrists under shoulders, our knees under hips. We'll move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So on the inhale, we'll pull the chest forward, gaze lifts, tailbone lifts. On the exhale, pressing your mat away, back rounds, head hangs, tailbone tucks. Inhaling, pulling the chest forward into cow. Exhaling, pressing your mat away into cat. We'll take once more each direction, pulling into cow. And pressing into cat. And we'll come back to neutral tabletop. We're going to do this 3 more times. But we're going to think about keeping the top half of our torso still-ish. And we're just going to get into the pelvis here with those little cat-cows. So on the next inhale, you're going to curl your tailbone up, but your rib cage stays stationary. And then on the exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone, feeling a little extra stretch through lower back. Inhaling, tailbone lifts, hip points drop. Exhaling, tucking the pelvis, creating length through the lower back. We'll take once more each direction, dropping the pelvis. And then tucking the tailbone under again. From here, we'll come back to neutral tabletop. Now we're going to take our left hand to the top right corner of your mat. We're going to swivel the hips a little to the right as we let them drop a little bit lower towards your mat. Take a couple breaths here. We're getting into left side body. You might feel this a little bit in the left lower back as well. And we can think about letting those hip points drop like they were in our cow pose. And we'll come back up to neutral, bringing the left hand back under the left shoulder. Now the right hand comes to the top left corner of the mat. Hips swivel a little to the left as we let them drop down. Hip points also dropping down towards the earth. Taking a couple big breaths here, opening up through right side body and right lower back. From here, we'll come back up to tabletop. One more variation here. Each palm is going to go up to its own respective corner of the mat. No more crossing over. So right hand to top right corner, left hand top left corner. Hips are going to slide back a little bit. We're going to rest either the forehead or the chin on the mat, depending on what feels better in your body. We're going to press through the palms as we're letting that torso sink heavy towards the mat. From here, walking hands back into that tabletop position, pressing into them to come back up to the tabletop. We're going to take our right hand, we're going to put it in the center of our mat so we can slide the right foot forward into a low lunge. We'll come up into a low lunge, hands at the knee, letting the hips sink forward, and then reaching fingers up to the sky. We're going to press through that left knee and the right foot as our hip points are lifting up towards the sky here. And then we'll bring the right hand to the right hip, left fingers reach up and over towards the right, little side stretch here, still pressing through the left knee as we're reaching through the left fingers. And we'll bring those left fingers back up to the sky and then meeting at the hips as well. We'll straighten the front leg. Right toes will reach up to the sky. We're going to slide that right thumb back into that right hip crease as we fold forward here. That right thumb is pressing down and back. Left fingers can come underneath the left shoulder. Thinking about keeping a flat back here as we're tucking that right outer hip down and back. If the floor feels really far away here, we might grab a block or a stack of books or whatever you've got laying around to create some extra height through those left fingers. And then from here, we're going to bring the right hand to the inside of that right foot. We'll swing the right leg around so that right knee meets the left. We'll bring the left hand into the center of our mat. We'll step the left foot forward, bringing hands to the knee, letting those hips sink, reaching fingers to the sky, pressing through the right knee, the left foot as hip points are lifting up towards the sky. Then we'll bring the left hand to the left hip. Right fingers will reach up and over to the left as we're still pressing through that right knee. And then we'll bring the right hand back down to the right hip. We'll straighten the front leg, left toes to the sky. We'll slide the left thumb in the left hip crease, pressing down and back with that thumb as we fold forward. The right fingers can come onto the mat, trying to have a flat-ish back here as we're sliding that left hip down and back. Again, if we need some height, we can grab books, a block, package of clay, etc. under those right fingers. And then we'll release the left hand on the inside of the left foot. We'll slide the left knee back to meet the right. We're in our tabletop. We're going to take a couple more rounds of cat-cow. You can move at your own pace. If there's any spot you want to hang out in for a moment or two, you can. If you want to add any extra wiggles here, you can. And then when you're ready, we're going to cross at the shins, sliding the hips back to come to seated. We'll toss that blanket aside if you've got it. And then we're going to come to lie on our backs. We'll have knees bent and feet planted. We'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh. We'll slide the right hand between the legs to catch behind the left thigh with both hands. If you're like most people, you'll probably curl your hips up off the mat to make this happen. We're going to then drop the hips back down heavy onto your mat. We're going to think about creating that lower curve or lumbar curve in the lower back. So you can imagine a little ant could crawl under your lower back. So legs are drawing in, but hips are still heavy on your mat. A couple breaths here. From here, we'll release that left thigh. We'll lower the left foot. We'll uncross the right leg and then crossing left ankle over right thigh, catching behind that right thigh. Again, we probably curled up, letting your hips drop back on to your mat, getting that lumbar curve back in your lower back, and then drawing legs in from here. We'll release the right leg, lowering the right foot, uncrossing the left foot. We'll bring our feet about as wide as our mat. If you're not on a mat, just a little wider than your hips. We'll bring our arms out wide like a T. And then on your next exhale, we'll drop knees over to the right. We'll inhale them back up to center. Exhaling over to the left. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the right. And back to center. And to the left. And center. We'll take once more over to the right. We're going to hold here. You've got some options. You can stay exactly as you are, and it probably feels lovely. If you want to add on, we might take the right foot to the top of the outer left thigh to add some extra weight. If you add that foot on top and you realize it's too much for your body, you're always welcome to change your mind here. We might bring our gaze over the left shoulder as well. If we put the right foot on the left leg, we'll get that right foot back off of the leg. And then we'll bring our knees back to center. We'll pause for a breath, neutral spine here. And then we'll drop our knees over to the left. If we add it on the first side, we'll bring the left foot on top of the right thigh on this side. And then our gaze can look over the right shoulder. If we stacked the left foot on the right leg, we'll lower that foot back to the ground. We'll bring our knees back up to center. We'll catch the kneecaps once more. We'll draw some circles in one direction. And we'll reverse the direction. And then we'll lower our feet to the mat. We'll lower our arms by our sides. We'll take one last moment to check in, dropping your awareness back into your body. Noticing how you're feeling in this moment. Noticing if anything feels like maybe it's shifted just a little from the start of class. And then bringing your awareness to your breath and maybe taking one last big full inhale. And long, slow exhale. Thank you very much for joining for my little mini class today. I hope to see you soon. Bye.